Please listen very carefully. Die Hard is not.
Yes, it is.
It seems every year at Christmas we always find ourselves getting into some type of debate about what constitutes a Christmas film, and of course several titles get brought up as to say that nah man, that right there was just set right around Christmas, or you know what man, it was released in the month of July, or you know what, it's not a Christmas film due to its dark subject matter. Or people will point out a literal continuity error and say, look, that right there's a Christmas film. However, the thing is this right here about Christmas films. Christmas films are films where Christmas is explicitly a part of the plot. And no film gets dismissed more than Die Hard. And Die Hard, by the way, is not the only one that gets dismissed. Oftentimes a film like, say, Lethal Weapon, or at least the first one, gets dismissed because Lethal Weapon, well, the setting is, in fact, Christmas. We may be touching that one at a later date, but still, though, at the same time, though, streaming services have now chosen to list Die Hard as a holiday classic, as well as they should, as I'll explain why, or give you guys the framework of why it is that Die Hard is a Christmas movie in this video, but moving forward. The point is, Christmas is not just in the background, it's actively a part of the plot. I mean, Batman Returns is probably a little bit dicier when it comes to calling it a Christmas film, but Lethal Weapon, a bit on the side of the not so sure, but Die Hard is definitely a Christmas film. So what exactly constitutes a Christmas film? Well, first and foremost, there always seems to be some sort of redemption, kind of like in the case of It's a Wonderful Life. By the way, It's a Wonderful Life, I need to go ahead and say this right now, love the film, all-time classic, great film, may even talk about it a little bit later on this channel, but still though, It's a Wonderful Life doesn't really start to involve Christmas until the final third of the film. Another timeless classic, and you guys are seeing some of the remake from 1994, Miracle on 34th Street, is also deemed a Christmas film, but the original was actually released in the month of May. Die Hard was released in the month of July. Now, just because of its release date doesn't exactly mean that it's not a Christmas film. It's more or less the fact that Christmas is a part of the plot, and also to go on top of that, all the themes and tropes that go along with it. Redemption, love, family, seeing family. It just so happens to be that Die Hard is a film that's quite frankly dark. I mean, it's got some dark subject matter to it. I mean, you're going up against some terrorists. Well, really not terrorists, they're actually just thieves. And of course, for the most part, it's an action film. And yes, there are people out there, including the lead actor himself, the guy who played John McClane, who does not believe it's a Christmas film. However, their opinions on this vary, as you guys will see here.
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It's a Bruce Willis movie.
So, would you say Die Hard is a Christmas movie?
Yes, it is.
This movie's an escapee, and there was a joy in it because we were, all the scratches on the side of the king's tomb, and we had changed the content, and that is how Die Hard became it. We hadn't intended it to be a Christmas movie, but the joy that came from it is what turned it into a Christmas.
Being settled more and more. It's on so many people's favorite Christmas list, and I have to say, I didn't think going into it 35 years ago it was a Christmas movie, and over the years, all of a sudden, it started to hear this discussion of it being a Christmas film, and I resisted it for a while, and then I finally realized, hey, it's great because at Christmas time, you look for classics, you're with family, you're watching films you love that bring you back to a memory of childhood and positivity and everything else.
So, obviously a mixture of views. You've got Bruce Willis, John McClane himself basically saying, no, it's not a Christmas movie, it's a Bruce Willis movie. You've got director John McTiernan saying that the joy from the film sort of makes it a Christmas film. And you've also got Robert Davi saying it, well, it's become a Christmas classic over the years. And of course, if you go to Disney Plus or Hulu, you will see it there in the holiday section. However, I tend to go with what Reginald VelJohnson, Sergeant Powell, said. It is a Christmas movie. that right there is what we're going to be discussing in this video. But before we do, if you guys can, please hit the like button. Please consider subscribing. If you guys are new here, please leave a comment in the comment section. I would love to get you guys' thoughts on not only the video essay, not only Die Hard itself, but also what you guys think in the comments about whether it be a Christmas film or not. And let us go ahead and get started. Now, before we dive into this video, I want you to know right now that the first part we're going to be talking about what constitutes a Christmas film and why it is that Die Hard has all the elements that would make it a Christmas film. And then we're going to be talking about a little bit of the plot, not a full-blown plot explanation. And then we're going to kind of end with something that a lot of people oftentimes don't think about when it comes to this particular film, and that is there's a secondary redemption arc that people oftentimes, as mentioned before, kind of forget about. Now, with that right there out of the way, let's talk about Die Hard. So, what constitutes a Christmas film? Well, for starters, Christmas has to explicitly be a part of the plot. Now, real quick, guys, if you clicked on this video, chances are you have seen this film and you don't need a plot explanation, but I'm going to give you guys a very quick rundown anyways, because Christmas is, in fact, a part of the plot, and it is from the absolute jump. Yes, it's Los Angeles. Yes, it's sunny. Yes, it does not look like Christmas, but of course it is very much Christmas, and that right there is why Detective John McClane has flown all the way from New York City to Los Angeles to see his wife, who, quite frankly, their marriage is on the rocks, but he's there for Christmas, he's there to see his kids, he's there to see his family. I mean, you sort of get the Christmas feel from the start with the title card coming across the screen. I mean, just listen for the bells.
My bag here.
You hear the bells and you automatically think to yourself, wow, something may be different about this film. It's probably because most people thought they were getting an action film, but what they didn't seem to realize was that we're getting a bit of a mix of both. The dark subject matter, of course, all the death, the destruction, the chaos, of course, is once again the main reason why is that people love to say that it's not a Christmas film. But given the fact that Christmas is very much a part of the plot, as mentioned before, it is very much a Christmas film. I mean, he's coming from New York to Los Angeles to see his estranged wife, who he may be divorcing, may not be divorcing, even though there are little hints in the film where you actually see John McClane, like, for example, with the flight attendant. There's also another scene that I did not include where he actually puts his hand on a picture of a topless girl while being inside the elevator shaft or going to the elevator shaft right before that scene, where you're thinking, okay, maybe he's a little bit up in the air about this. And then, of course, there's also the limousine sequence with Argyle, and Argyle does play some, well, Christmas music that's sort of unconventional for most people. But yeah, this right here has all the markings for a Christmas film. And, of course, also to go on top of that, he's going to a Christmas party. There's Christmas trees everywhere. And, of course, there is a whole notion, once again, of him coming to see his family for Christmas. So, yeah, therefore, all the hallmarks are there for it to actually be a Christmas film. Which brings us to the flip side of this. And by flip side, I'm not talking about the arguments from the crowd that say it's not a Christmas film, but of course the terrorists themselves. Oh wait, that's right.
Because I am interested in the $640 million in negotiable bearer bonds that you have locked in your vault. And the computer controls the vault.
You want money? What kind of terrorists are you?
Who said we were terrorists?
They're not terrorists. They're thieves. They're basically doing a Grinch plot here. And of course, John McClane is the one who ultimately foils it. Now, I've heard people say that there's other little things like, for example, Bonnie Bedelia, Holly McClane. Yes, that's right, Holly. They love to use that as more of a reference to suggest that this right is a Christmas film. But like I said before, for the most part, it's really the fact that there's a bit of a redemption narrative here, and also the secondary one that I'll get to here momentarily. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Now, guys, before I talk about Mr. McClane and the redemption arc that's going on here, I got to play a bit of a montage for you guys, because obviously you need to be reminded of why it is that this film is so loved. So yes, you clicked on a review, you clicked on a video about an action film, or an action film that's actually a Christmas film. So let me play some of those highlights for you before we go any further.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
Next time you have a chance to kill someone, don't hesitate. Thanks for the info. Welcome to the party, pal!
Turn up the heat and
Geronimo, motherfucker!
They're using artillery on us.
You idiot. It's not the police. It's him. What was it you said to me before? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
That was only about a minute and 20 seconds. I had to edit a lot of that down, but there's a lot more. I mean, the entire rooftop scene. But my personal favorite scene is the one involving Sergeant Powell when he first gets on the scene. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of playing it for you guys again, so that way you guys can kind of zoom in a little bit if you want to. Yeah, you can actually see the body flying off the car. Just an absolutely hilarious scene.
turn up the heat and it's getting ready to pop.
But we all know the story. John McClane is coming from New York City to see his estranged wife and kids for Christmas, to get some closure on what's actually going on, or maybe just enjoy the holiday. And while at the Christmas party, it's overtaken by a bunch of thieves pretending to be, well, highlighting as terrorists. Of course, Hans Gruber. Phenomenal performance by Alan Rickman. Rest in peace, by the way. And of course, you know the story. You know all the scenes. You know all the bits. And of course, you know the debate. But before we talk about the real reason why it's a Christmas film, there's something that I do want to go over, so bear with me on this. Bruce Willis actually wanted the character of John McClane to be killed at the end of part 2. Now, I don't want to turn this video into a Die Hard series overview or anything like that. I have my own ranking of which films I like best, but I've always felt that the first 2 films were like the only true Die Hard films. Die Hard with a Vengeance, of course, was also set at Christmas as well, but very, very oddly, during the middle of what appeared to be a bit of a heat wave in New York City, and of course part 4 is set on 4th of July, and of course part 5, just don't get me started, character assassination, all that type of stuff there. May even look into John McClane's character in later videos, but still though, the point is this here. The first 2 feel like actual Die Hard films, where the other 3 do not. I think what it has to do with is it has to do with the fact that during the first one, he's in pajamas. He's in a wife beater. He gets dirtied up. He goes through the air conditioning vent. He gets, well, quite frankly, mauled in multiple instances. And there's also even the bit where you see that he's not wearing any shoes, which I think we should have figured out, because there was actually a scene that I could not provide for you guys in the B-roll footage where you actually see John without his shoes on in Holly's office. The point is this here. This right here is what we call a reluctant hero. There are 2 scenes in the second film which I think is extremely underrated Die Harder that sort of cement this. Let me play these back to back for you guys.
Oh, man, I can't fucking believe this. Another basement, another elevator. How can the same shit happen to the same guy twice?
Appreciate your effort, McClane, but we don't need a loose cannon on this deck. What if they decide to crash another plane in retaliation for your little stunt,
They
huh?
can't do that anymore, right, Barnes? Besides, if I grabbed Esperanza, this would all be over by now.
Well, maybe they're just a little bit more creative than you think.
Well, at least I'm thinking, goddammit!
Listen, you wise ass. We're here to jerk off that cocksucker until he tries to take off. Period. Now, you're the wrong guy in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Story of my life.
Happens to the same guy twice, wrong man at the wrong place at the wrong time. The point is this here. This right here is what we call a reluctant hero. And like mentioned before, they kind of wanted to, well, Bruce Willis wanted his character to be killed off at the end of part 2. I have no idea why, but still though, that was sort of what it's about. Stepping up, being a reluctant person. Sort of the, I've always said that it's almost like somebody saying that it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. That right there is John McClane in a nutshell. But once again, this right here is not what makes it a Christmas film. What makes it a Christmas film is the fact that you've got a guy coming from New York to see his family, to spend time with him on Christmas. The setting is obviously there. And as mentioned before, Christmas is also very, very much a part of the plot. I mean, you get so many instances of...
And no snooping around the house looking for presents.
You got any Christmas music?
This is Christmas music. Merry Christmas.
Sorry to waste your time. No problem at all. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
It just goes completely and totally unseen. People, like I said, view it automatically as a non-Christmas film because of the fact that it's very, very dark. However, here's the thing about that. I did say that there was a redemption arc that does take place in this film, but it's not Detective McClane. It's actually this guy here. When we see Sergeant Powell, you think to yourself, this guy is obviously a bit of a scaredy cat, but that's not really what's going on here. He's got a wife at home, is expecting his first child. You find that out very early on. You also find out that he, for the most part, has been a desk jockey for a while, and he's just simply out. And of course, he's asked to go check in at Nakatomi Towers due to the constant calls that they're getting from Detective McClane. After a while, he sort of becomes a person for John to kind of lean into and lean on, to kind of tell him, hey, look, this is what's going on, and also kind of confide into a certain degree. But during John McClane's, let's just say, bits of confiding into Sergeant Powell, we get this little nugget about Powell. It's a little over a minute, but I'm going to play it all the way through.
Hey, pal, you got flat feet?
What the hell are you talking about, man?
Something had to get you off the street.
What's the matter? You don't think jockeying papers across a desk is a noble effort for a cop?
No.
I had an accident.
The way you drive, I can see why. What'd you do?
Run over your captain's foot with the car.
I shot a kid. He was 13 years old. Oh, it was dark. I couldn't see him. He had a ray gun, looked real enough. You know, when you're a rookie, they can teach you everything about being a cop except how to live with a mistake. Anyway, I just couldn't bring myself to draw my gun on anybody again.
He messed up. He screwed up. That is exactly what happened. He shot a kid. He did not mean to shoot a kid. And given the fact that it's Los Angeles, the bad neighborhoods, you almost come away with this sense of, well, anybody could have screwed that up. But then again, at the same time, though, you also come away with the sense of, dude, how the hell could you screw that up? The point is, there's somebody in this story that needs to be redeemed. Now, speaking of redemption, I want to be very brief with this part, but you guys will see where I'm going with this. If you guys saw the movie It's a Wonderful Life, then you know that at the very end or towards the end of the film, you have George going absolutely crazy after his Uncle Billy loses the money. George goes off on anybody and everybody. He believes that he's going to go to jail, and he ultimately, at the end of the day, has to sort of redeem himself to a certain extent, which there really is a redemption arc, but it's really a different type of redemption. It's really his self-redemption, saying that his life really and truly is worth something. And of course, if you know the story, you find out exactly how loved he is. Everybody chips in. They band together to bail George out. If that right there was not a good example for you guys, don't worry, I'll give you another. Lethal Weapon is another film that gets discussed all the time. I mentioned it earlier about it possibly being a Christmas film. What people oftentimes tend to forget about that film is that there is a bit of a redemption arc in that one too. You see, in that film there, you have Mel Gibson, of course, Martin Riggs. He is still trying to get over the trauma of losing his wife. He eventually goes to the grave after he's defeated Joshua. He's helped Murtaugh out, and then next thing you know, Riggs is sort of taken in and kind of redeems himself. Redemption is kind of a theme for Christmas films or films set around the Christmas holiday. Even the film The Matador, which is a not-so-talked-about film starring Pierce Brosnan and Greg Kinnear, you have a bit of a redemption arc for both Greg Kinnear and Pierce Brosnan's characters. Not going to go too far into it, but you sort of have that. And, of course, it ends on the Christmas holiday. Now, those alone don't make it a Christmas film. However, in this sense here, it further solidifies this a Christmas film given the setting, because a lot of those other movies weren't set outside Lethal Weapon all Christmas throughout the entire film. Which brings us back to Sergeant Powell. So, people oftentimes forget that the climax of the film was not when John threw Hans off the top of Nakatomi Towers. It was actually this sequence here. This right here in a lot of ways makes you think that maybe John didn't do a very good job of making sure that Carl was dead earlier, but then again, though, when you see Carl hanging from a chain while everybody is running downstairs, getting away from the tower or getting from the top of the tower, yeah, you might think that John may not have done his job there, but of course they're just kind of freakish. The point is this here. No telling how many lives that Sergeant Powell saved. I mean, it's not like it makes up for the life that he took by mistake, but still at the same time, you kind of come away thinking to yourself, wow, this guy, throughout this entire process, he has found a way to kind of cement himself as a hero himself, and he's kind of redeemed himself from previous sins and a previous mistake. That's just the sense that I get from that scene. And while you get holly, you get Christmas trees, you get a Christmas party, you get the setting, you get all the Merry Christmases, you get the Christmas music. Ode to Joy is not a Christmas song. People think that it is, but it's not. Yeah, you kind of come away thinking to yourself that maybe Christmas is explicitly a part of the plot when it comes to this film. And yes, it is. And even though it's dark in its overall subject matter, it is very, very much a Christmas film. It just so happens to be that Sergeant Al Powell's redemption arc sort of solidifies it. But you guys tell me what you think. I'd love to hear what you guys have got to say in the comment section. Please tell me what you guys think about the movie. Tell me if you think it's a Christmas film. Tell me if you think that I'm absolutely insane. Tell me if you think I'm crazy. I want to get you guys' thoughts. And of course, if you guys can, please hit that thumbs up button. Also, if you guys can, please consider subscribing if you're new here. And I'll see you guys later. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!